You guys get your cover into the Well, we have sun, no rain. We had a very nice concert last week inside, but I prefer them outside. That's what the idea is. We'll start our concert off as we always do with our national anthem, Star Spangled Banner. I probably don't have to announce that march. We play it every year. Any concert we do it because it's one of our favorites. It's called the Klaxon March by Henry Fillmore. It's probably written about in the 1930s, a little later. Than he had his own band and traveled just like Sousa and a few of the others did. So one of the reasons I put this particular march on is tonight's concert is dedicated to a person that's very special to our band that passed away this past winter, and Mr. Dick Carlson. And we were in the UMD band together, and John Vukmanich Sr., several other, Jerry Snyder from Chisholm, just a great, great band. And the Klaxon would have been what we marched to, and it would have been what we played at football games. We didn't do any of the pop tunes or anything like that. Murph, our teacher, made us follow all dynamics and all. When we were at the football games, you'd see him quiet us down on the soft parts, etc. So that was we made even good music out of the marches. So one of the reasons I programmed it, and we're going to do a special number for Dick a little later in a little short while. Next on our program is our heavy number for the night. It's called Toccata by Frescobaldi, probably written in the early 1600s. And he wrote primarily for keyboard, which would have been a harpsichord or an organ. And there would have been string instruments, of course, that he used as accompaniment, etc. But this particular piece of music is, I used it a lot in high school, and it's a good training piece, and that's what they. If you want to introduce your students to classical music, this is a great piece for it. You'll hear some different styles in there. Very difficult piece of music. Toccata by Frescobaldi. Next on our program, we're going to do a tune that's very familiar to us called Danny Boy. I've read that there's over 100 different Irish melodies Irish tunes to this particular melody. We have with us a euphonium soloist named Daniel Melby. Grew up in Iowa where music is very important in the schools, and is a graduate of Concordia College and is now a band director in our Rock Ridge schools. And as the years go on and you see the marching band, et cetera, and the concert bands, you'll see a lot of good trombone and baritone players, a lot of good lower brass players, because that's what his specialty is. We are doing this concert by his suggestion. We've had for the last several years a person named Dick Carlson who drove from Duluth, believe it or not, for our Virginia City Band concerts and practices, and I don't think he missed in the past many years just a few concerts. And we have part of his family here tonight, and we definitely wanted to do this program. And he started off his teaching career. First of all, probably hardly anybody knows this, but he taught for 1 week before I started at Eveleth. So he had that weekend, and then he also the following year started teaching at Mountain Iron. We have two people here that had him as a teacher, and with Lynn Lopatka and Steve, so he definitely had a big influence on our Steve Kniefel, by the way. Very definite influence on our band. He had just an ability to do what we call milk a tune. He could just play something and made your heart flutter, that type of playing. I had the privilege of playing alongside of him for several years, and I'll tell you, it's just a great thing. We were not only friends as musicians, we were just good friends, and remained that way for many, many years. After he left Mountain Iron, he taught both in the Duluth schools, public schools, and at UMD. Finished his career up as a business person. Dick passed away a few months ago, and we hope that his memory, it'll stay with us. I know he had an influence on us. People hear this as they're sitting here playing, and that you hear that type of playing. So without any further ado, I bring up Mr. Daniel Melby and Danny Boy. Funny how a song written so many years ago just still has that great melody to it. Next, we're going to do a song called The Pacific. It's written by Hans Zimmer and Blake Neely. It's a theme song, and we've done this before. It's a theme song from an HBO 10-part series. Four books were written by some Marines on the Pacific, leading to VJ Day. So these Marines each wrote a book and gave their account of what they went through, which you can only imagine would have been like. You know, you're stuck on an island, etc. And this TV series that they had on it was in like 2010, I think, was when it was playing on HBO, and it of course is supposedly almost factual, but like most TV things, they always build it and make the excitement beyond, to keep our interest beyond what actually happened. But the people that watched it, that wrote the book, and that were impressed with it, even though it wasn't 100% factual. The Pacific is just another nice tune. The Pacific. The first half of the concert will be concluded with a John Philip Sousa March. It's called the Invincible Eagle. As far as I know, the Virginia City Band has never played this. I inherited the Aurora White Lakes City Band library, and this one is in there, and it's kind of a nice march, one that we like to find some different ones. You know, there are thousands, so we can always find different ones. There's a story when the Sousa band traveled, they'd always take a soprano singer along with them. They always featured an operatic type of a singer. And so this person was riding and observed him in the train, on the train as they were riding in a kind of a dimly lit car, and she saw him circling with big circles with his hand, and he was just circling, and pretty soon the circles started getting smaller, and then he reached in his pocket, pulled out a notebook, and zipped out the Invincible Eagle March. The Invincible Eagle by John Philip Sousa.
Hello. I got it all figured out now. Welcome to the second half of our concert, and I have a few movie tunes for you. So, movie fans, movie music fans, buckle up because we've got a few good ones for you. First up for the second half of the concert is music from The Incredibles by Michael Giacchino. He's done a lot of film work recently, gotten his name out there. This music is from the 2004 Disney Pixar movie The Incredibles, set in the mid-20th century, kind of the after World War II era in this fictional universe. It features a very jazz-heavy score, so you'll hear a lot of that type of stuff going on. One of the things that they used to make the music sound more authentic from that time period was, rather than recording digitally, as is common, they recorded on analog tape. So it kind of gave that era, that feel to the music, just in the recording equipment they use. Is really cool. It won many awards for best film score, and it's very fun for us to play. At least it's fun for me to conduct. It sounds like they're having fun playing too. Hopefully it's as fun to listen to as it is to play. Special shout out to Mr. Kevin Schumall on the drum set back there. We're going to slow it down now, get a little calmer here with Tara's theme from Gone with the Wind. This is the main theme from the 1939 film. The movie was very popular at the time, and it had remained popular. When you adjust for inflation, it is still the highest grossing film of all time, which is pretty incredible considering all the mega blockbusters we have these days and how much money they make worldwide. This is still the most successful film when you adjust for inflation. It won 10 Academy Awards, which is pretty incredible as well. And although the movie is not without its problems, it is still considered one of the best films of all time. And as such, it was part of the inaugural list of the National Film Registry. We talked about last week, if you're here last week, that the Hymn to the Fallen, the Saving Private Ryan, that was the movie that we played. Saving Private Ryan. Oh my gosh. We played Hymn to the Fallen from that movie. That was on the registry as well, and so is this one. Max Steiner, a little bit about him. He was an Australian composer. He was a child prodigy who wrote his first piece of music at age 12. And by age 15, he was working professionally. He is called the father of film music because during his career, he wrote over 300 film scores. And so he really helped. He was one of those people who helped establish writing music for movies to be played while movies were going. So we owe a lot to him. Here is Tara's theme from Gone with the Wind. If Max Steiner was the father of film scores, then without a doubt, John Williams would be the greatest film score composer of all time. At least in my opinion, but I think that's a pretty popular opinion. Music from Jurassic Park by John Williams is our next piece. And Williams wrote many, many film scores. Among his most favorite, or famous, my favorites, Star Wars, all the Star Wars films, all 9 of the main titles, the first 3 Harry Potter films, all of the Indiana Jones movies, E.T., Jaws, Schindler's List, Home Alone, and many, many more. He led the Boston Pops Orchestra from 1980 to 1993. He is very highly awarded with 25 Grammys, 7 British Academy Film Awards, 5 Academy Awards, and 4 Golden Globes. His 52 Academy Award nominations are second all-time only to Walt Disney. And that was back when I wrote this, so maybe he's won a few more since then. Who knows, right? With this most recent Indiana Jones movie that is coming out in theaters this summer, maybe it's already out, I don't know for certain, that is his last film score that he's ever going to compose. He's retiring, he's semi-retiring. He's retiring from writing film music, but he's not retiring from writing music altogether. At 90 years old, I think he's earned a retirement, but he doesn't want to. So he's still going, just not doing for movies anymore. So hope you enjoy music from Jurassic Park. I'll take a second to talk about some other musical events going on. The Northern Lights Music Festival is in full swing. They have multiple concerts and performances at multiple venues and locations. So look online, look in the newspaper for all of the different, or ask Barb Baldrica back there after the concert. She'll tell you where to go, what to do. So that's going on. Also, we have a bonus city band performance at the conclusion of our season. We've got 2 more weeks, but then the Hibbing City Band director, Julie Sandstead, reached out to us and said, hey, do we want to do a joint concert with the 2 city bands, Hibbing and Virginia? It's been about a decade since that's happened. So Thursday, July 27th, in Chisholm at the Discovery Center or Iron World, we are having a joint concert with the Hibbing City Band and the Virginia City Band. So it should be a lot of fun. We're going to do lots of fun, lighthearted music. And if you can make it to that concert in addition to our next 2 concerts, that would be great. I think it's 7 p.m., as our concerts usually are in Chisholm at the Discovery Center. So a few more things to add to your calendar. Our next piece tonight is another march from Sousa, the Liberty Bell. Sousa and his patron were having some disagreements on the price of the march. After Sousa wrote it, his patron wanted to pay him a little less than they agreed. They were about $500 apart, which in those days was a good deal of money. So if they had been able to work it out, this piece would have been called The Devil's Deputy. But they couldn't negotiate, and so Sousa took it back. And then he's like, well, fine, I'll use it for something else. So he named it the Liberty Bell after his son marched in his first parade celebrating the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. It was also one of the first marches that brought Sousa significant financial gain. So this one kind of helped line his pockets a little bit. The Liberty Bell. thank you again for joining us this evening at the Ball Baldrica Bandstand. I'll echo what Bill said, that our setup in the arena was pretty nice, but this is where it's meant to be. This is how it's meant to be. So thank you for joining us. Like I said, we have 2 more concerts here, and then the bonus concert over in Chisholm. We'll leave you tonight with something heavy, something classical, but something grand. Pictures at an exhibition by Modest Mussorgsky. Mussorgsky was a Russian composer. He wrote this piece in 1874. It started out as a piano suite and then became transcribed for orchestra, and then now into our band arrangement. This piece was based on, it was a 10-movement piece, and each movement was to represent a painting done by one of Mussorgsky's friends. His name was Victor Hartmann. And so each of the pieces, each of the movements was to represent a piece that he painted in this gallery. So it was kind of like a musical walk-through art gallery. We only get 3 of the movements in this one. The promenade, the main theme, and then the hut, sometimes called the hut on Fowl's Legs or the witch's hut, and then finally the Great Gate of Kiev. So thank you for coming out, and we'll see you hopefully for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you come to Chisholm with us. Thank you, everyone.